Good morning, friends. I hope you are having a good weekend. This is the trade plan come weekly review for our English webinar, which was held on September 19th. Participants, and I'll broadly give you the sense that I have and how I would look at things from here. Uh, that may or may not gel with the average opinion, but the average opinion is at best average. So let's quickly go to the charts of the US market first. Now here, the way the average person would like to look at this S&P 500 chart is that this is a lower top, lower low situation. The way I would look at it is a little different. Why and how? For me, this larger trend remains up. Okay. And this one series of lower high, lower low means that people start to get negative here. Okay. You are still above the mother of all averages, which is the 200-day average. So what I am looking for, and the operative word is looking for, is some buy event to happen in this zone. See, you are running into strong support at these levels, basically 3250 to 3280. Okay, so if S&P 500 finds support 30 points lower, it can easily reverse and restart a fresh uptrend. So the view is that I don't want to be short. I am looking for a turnaround on S&P 500. The place to go short was this. If you are going short here, you are going to get trapped with all the weak holders. So this is as far as my view on the S&P 500 is concerned. And with this sort of theme, let's go and have a look on the Nifty chart. This is the daily chart of the Nifty. So far, no problem. At best, if you look at the hourly chart for last many days since the 10th of September, we are in a range of 11,350 to broadly 11,600. Okay, so basically if we try to get more exact on levels, this large bar that happened, the low of this was 11,300. We found resistance at 11,440 several times. Even on Friday, we found resistance at 11,440. This was about 11,400. So I think we can get to the view that basically 11,400 to 11,600 would be a reasonable range which captures 90% of the action. So see, all support resistance is ranges. Okay? And somewhere here is your resistance zone. Now let's try to match it with our pivot charts. The pivots for the weekly on Nifty is 11,386, broadly 11,400 to about 11,620, broadly 11,600. So 11,400 to 11,600 seems to be the range of the Bank Nifty for the week, and the weekly pivot is 11,501. So basically 100 points on either side. Now, what do we do on Monday morning? As of right now, the SGX is showing you about a 55-point decline. So on the daily, your support zone is 11,428 to 11,466. S1 is 11,439. So first up, you gap down into this zone, Friday's low, and from there, I would think you could have a rally right up to this support at 11,500, 520. And then you watch what happens here. Either the market stops here and starts to reject and comes off. So this is trade one, if you want to take it. And this could be trade two. You're stopping at the pivot. Okay. So you buy at S1 and trade it right up to the pivot, and then from there possibly you have a second decline. Okay. all the while keeping in mind that the weekly range is 11,400 to 11,600. See, what is important here is to wait and see. You know these pre-planned levels. How does the market react at these pre-planned levels? That is the most important issue. Okay, let's. This is your support zone from the resistance zone from the previous day where we went and hit by the close on Friday. So basically, what we are trying to, what we think may happen is the market for the day mostly stays in this area. And the action points could be here and here. Buying at lower level and selling at higher levels. And then post afternoon, depending on global cues, etc., maybe we make a fresh low, maybe we don't, because this is the 20-day moving average. It will not be easy to break this. Now we come to the more interesting part of the game, which is let's have a look at the weekly chart here. Last week was reasonably narrow range week. So the high and low of last week are crucial. Okay, but the view you have to take is 50 DMA up, 20 week moving up, the moving average up, 50 week moving average up. The 20-week moving average is at 11,350. So there is lots of support in this 11,350 400 zone. It's very easy to get bearish looking at US action and everything else, but the markets don't get into correction very easily. This we know from the experience of last many weeks. Now this is the bank Nifty chart, 3 big weeks down. Okay, now almost at support, and we saw how support works. Last week's low was 21,784, and you came back about, I think, 300 points from those lows. So the sense is that on the daily we went below 22,000. Now my issue here is that is this a great place to short? If you didn't go short here, you didn't go short here. The third breakdown, in my view, is a very poor place to go short. What I have heard is that the Maharishi panel report has come, and that says that there shouldn't be any interest on interest and the government should pick up the tab. From this report, people will try to assess what the judgment of the Supreme Court may be. And this report was probably leaked out during market hours on Friday. And a lot of longs who had 22,000 as their stop, they got stopped out. This bar happens when you are stopped out. The stops got hit and you got this sort of a large bar. Now understand the view. The view is not that you you buy the moment the market opens on Monday. The view is that you are stocking the market or the bank nifty to buy. You see, yesterday one of my relatives called me to ask me if Indian banks are going bust. If this is the sentiment on banks, I think it's time to think about buying. And think about buying is the right word because first you are waiting for the market to show you a green bar. Let somebody else buy first, but this is not a point to go short. That is my understanding. On the Nifty, we are sideways. On the bank Nifty, in my opinion, you are in a buy zone. Now, some people will find this view funny, stupid, ridiculous, but you buy when things come down. Okay, you sell when things go up. This is the auction market theory that the sellers become more and more active as markets go down, as go up, and as market comes down, the buyers are looking at what point they will be finding value. Okay, somewhere in this 21,500, 22,000 zone, we are likely to make some sort of bottom. So what you are looking for is a bottom in this zone, not looking to get short. Okay, and once this bottoms out, it is my view that the Nifty will bottom out and will go past 11,600. By the time, chances are US market will bottom out and everything turns up and goes up. Okay, even on the bank Nifty, you are still making higher low and higher high. This is still a higher low than this 21,000. So while this may look bearish to most people, I would think that the kind of shorts which are accumulated here will need some kind of release, and you will find the market moving up very, very strongly to 23,500 in the next 15 to 20 sessions. Okay. Now, I have given you a list of my intraday stocks. You can make your own lists. Again, let me repeat what you have to do. Before that, let me show you what you should be doing on um, the Bank Nifty intraday. Okay, the Bank Nifty weekly pivots are 21,628 to 22,590. So broadly 21,500 to 22,500. Okay. Now here, see the pivot zone on Bank Nifty daily is at 22,100, which is basically the bottom end of the range that we broke down from. 22,100 is this zone here. Okay, and you tested this zone on, so this is where your pivot is there. Again, very similar view that you have your range from Friday. If you open at about 21,800, etc., you can ride it back to 22,100 and then see what happens here. Okay, and you have these two levels. Wherever the market is reacting according to your plan, which means if you are planning to sell here and buy here, if a price action is conducive, you will act. Okay, so my view is do not get too bearish looking at SGX or looking at US market, because again the US markets have corrected quite a bit, we have corrected quite a bit, and this fresh breakdown that we are looking at on Bank Nifty or S&P 500 may not get the sort of follow through that people are expecting. You should sell at higher levels and buy at lower levels. That is the broad philosophy you should have. Is this the big correction? I don't know. Nobody knows. 11,350 to 400 is our support zone. And as long as that holds on, we remain in a buy on dip mode. If 11,350, 400 goes, then we will look at the next buy zone, which could be closer to 11,200. Okay. If you get rallies towards 11,600, you would look to sell into it. So we are being in a sideways type of mode. You have buy and sell zones. Right now, the market trend has gone flat. The Bank Nifty is correcting more sharply than the Nifty. So in my view, Bank Nifty is closer to its buy zone than the Nifty is. Okay, and Bank Nifty is where you will get the next large up move. So this sort of view should be taken that going short below 22,000 on Bank Nifty is not the wisest idea. On the Nifty, you have your buy and sell zone 11,350, 400. You try to buy 11,550, 600. You try to sell, and for the moment, we remain sideways. Now, the sort of stocks calls that I have made for tomorrow, again, I would like to buy into financials if the opportunity presents itself. So I want to sell HUL, which is breaking its 200. Let's have a look at that. I think HUL has been looking weak for a while, and now it is breaking fresh ground on the downside. At some point, it will bottom, maybe closer to this sort of zone, which is 1950 thereabouts. This is the next support, but I think this is breaking down. Infosys is a different stock. It's been in a strong uptrend. In my view, even the techs and pharmas will face selling pressure. Now, what am I trying to buy? I am trying to buy SBI. Big downside correction. Now around support. But again, you need to see evidence of support coming in. So maybe this is the W that is getting formed, but you are anticipating a W. Wait for the price to pick up. Okay. So while this is a call, but this is not a blind call that you go in and you just go and buy. The call starts to work if this price here on the downside gets rejected, and that the market needs to tell us. This is the next one, Hdfc. Okay, again, this is very close to its support zone. It's had large decline from 1900 down to 1700. So if you buy here and the market turns, you will get an upside. When do you buy? Whenever you start to see support coming in. See, a lot of people think that Supreme Court judgment day will be the day when Bank Nifty turns. My sense is that Bank Nifty will try to gauge what may happen in the Supreme Court and may move earlier. Okay. Now you have an IndusInd Bank. Okay, this is not weakened. This is still above its 20-day moving average. So I would think this is a fairly decent looking buy. It is, not weakened as much. So what I am anticipating is that because of the Maharishi report being out, the reaction happened on Friday. And taking that as the basis of the judgment. See, why are expert panels appointed? They are appointed because they can give expert opinion. And I think some sort of middle ground has been found that, uh, you know, interest has to be paid, but interest on interest, that is the government may look to waive or pick up the tab on. 25,000 to save the entire banking system may not be a whole lot. So this kind of compromise can be done, and government has non-cash ways of doing things where RBI can issue some bonds, etc., to banks, and you know all that financial jugglery can go on. So chances are that maybe some kind of a solution may be found. So this is the plan for tomorrow. You gap down and you try to buy the gap down around Friday's low, trade it back up to Friday's high, and then we take it from there. Overall, the pivots are declining. So while on an intraday basis, the weak bias continues, on a swing basis, you should be very cognizant of a turnaround which could be imminent. The Nifty remains sideways because half of it is going up, the other half is coming down. So at some point, this is going to reverse where the stronger parts come off and the weaker parts, they go up. This should be it for right now. Take care, trade well. Please take very small positions. First, get the hang of, what is the thought process. A lot depends on how the market reacts. What we are giving you is a trade plan, not a list of predictions. So if the market does not go according to trade plan, you just sit quietly and see what the market is telling you. So that remains an important part of trading, and do not put money that you cannot afford to lose.